This is a quick collective energy reading. What you need to know: what's behind you, who's in front of you, what's stopping you, what's blocking you. Clear the energy. 1, 2, 3. Certain people could be feeling insecure because you could have to be cautious, and you're organized and people are watching you going towards that renewal and that fulfillment because you've ended cycles. People could see a social awareness of you because you're honoring, someone could be honoring you because your structures. Right? You could be connecting. You may need to use your intuitions. Listen to the spirit. Be discerning. You may need to have compassion. You may need compassion for yourself. Somebody's wanting forgiveness. You could be hearing about this happiness hater with these bad habits, family members, friends. Take it all as it resonates. Somebody from your foundation. This could be like someone close to your family, like Cancer energy. You need to use your intuitions and have compassion for yourself. They may not have had intuitions and had compassion towards you about this home, these foundations, these structures. That's because they're having conflict of the mind now because of the habits and the way how they was moving. Somebody could be looking back at you, missing you, and feeling that intimacy. And that's this happiness hater. Take it all as it resonates. Running. Too many cards here, but someone could be running and having these scarcity tactics in their head about these child services. So children could be in danger about being reported, neglected or abused, making assumptions and creating stories. So they could be coming and make these stories and come tell you about these children, about this family, about these foundations for this father, this mother figure. Take it all as it resonates. You may need to use your intuitions because they're all in their head. So that's you having compassion. You can see how certain people are being wise. Listen to the way how they come and communicate towards you. Listen and trust your gut feelings about these people that was running. They may have got these scarcity tactics, so you may need to see that duality, that black to that white. Who was taking action, who was moving. You may have photo proof about this happiness hater. Take it all as it resonates. There may be photo proof about that happiness hater. Dirt digging. Somebody could be dirt digging on you and snooping for secrets, trying to be able to expose you. That's the tables might turn. That's somebody like in that Scorpio energy, being idealistic. You know, when you're driven through that golden calf and you're looking, thinking that you're going to find something shining, what you're looking for, or digging for dirt, like how you move and what you're doing and your social structures of when you're taking action or who's taking action towards you, because that's you growing. And when they're in that low dense energy, because they was being vindictive and clinging, and they're going to see who's clinging on to who and how you was moving about these assets and these inheritances, even like spiritual inheritance. That's having that wisdom and knowledge about transforming and changing. Oh, lots of inside scoop. So you're going to find some inside scoop. People's in the ego, love on the brain. Now they're hooked up because they could be moving on. They're feeling haunted because they was doing bad stuff, spell work. And now they're looking back at the memories, flashbacks, trauma about this karma. Crying over you. You had to call it a day. You seen they had bad karma. They was haunted. So you moved on because they was all in their ego. Now they could be hustling and making it rain. Focus on that bag. Money and mission, they could be looking at you and your focus on that. But they could be threatening, certain people was threatening in regards to this money because into you, good chemistry. Or because of these child services, you're going to get this inside scoop. People are trying to gain an inside scoop on you about what you're doing. Because seeing if you're a boss daddy or about your boss daddy and that stable, rich, this boss daddy could be stable, they might not be rich, they might not be stable. So you could be hearing this boss daddy's been dirt digging on you, trying to find some inside scoops, seeing secrets, and because they was out there wasting time, grudge holding. Somebody could be grudge holding on you. Take this all as it resonates. And they're looking at that stock. No second chances. They're feeling limited. They could be looking and connecting to their emotions. They're identifying now about the actions that they took. Take this all as it resonates. Let me just turn this so I can see this time. 3, it says 5 past 3, so then they was moving with that ego, that aggressive energy. They could be coming direct towards you, speaking about you. Someone could be speaking about you, have a social awareness of you, the way you're speaking, just as I'm speaking right now. This could be certain family members and friends. They was chatting shit, wasting time, blocking and stopping due to the fact that you're speaking. This boss daddy, because they was grudge holding. They could have been lighting candles. They thought they didn't have that clarity of mind. They didn't have that discernment because they didn't have that balance. All because someone was into you and you had that good chemistry, great vibes and pure intentions. All of a sudden, people are clout hungry, viral or nothing. They live for attention. They was out there and they could have photo proof on these people that was clout hungry. They're having that death. They're having that awakening because they're dirt digging. Ooh. You could see they was trying to face that inside scoop, but they didn't realise the 6 of Pentacles about your work, about your service, about how you provide and why you're generous and what you're doing. They was trying to say that you was fake. They was trying to say that you wasn't that one who was supporting, caring, nurturing. You wasn't the one who was receiving those downloads, like you wasn't connected to the divine. Like you wasn't balanced. Like you didn't have that understanding to overstand certain people was bullshit. You could be a Virgo. You could be in your Virgo energy. They could be in their mind, their thoughts. They may be trying to trap you, so you was in that 6th chakra. So you didn't have that discernment, like you didn't have wisdom, like you weren't able to detach from certain people who was blocking you. You was analysing. You had to recognise you was loyal. These people was fake. They had no balance. Those people in that community who was dirt digging in regards towards you, or because they was competing with other people and working alongside other people, chatting shit about your willpower, about your strength, about your courage, about your creativity, about your passion, the way you speak, just as I'm speaking right now. When you were taking action about this love, they was trying to burn it with great power, so it was blocked and it was out, so closure, and that's looking nosy up in your business, all about this love. About this Ace of Wands. This could be a fire sign who could be coming rushing in to give you that willpower, show you that love, and that's with great passion. They was enthusiastic in energy when they was taking that action to block your ambition and your dreams, because that was that Knight of Pentacles. Practical and reliable, all this divine masculine. That was a knight. You was steadfast, organized. You know, there was someone who's taken that leadership. You know, when you're looking at your foundations and your habits now they're looking back towards them, because they could have been clinging on because they was being selfish and moody. They weren't connecting to those emotions. The ones didn't have no compassion. They didn't have that inner standing to be able to overstand when they was around certain people. They didn't have that clarity of thought when they was taking that action. They're gaining introspection now because about the things that was in unknown. They could have been disguising themselves and acting like there was a boss daddy. All because they was in public, and others had that social awareness. They was like detached from certain emotions and feelings, all because of their ego and their pride. You know, when you're thinking that you're being that great fool and you're taking leaps of faith, they've been wasting time, and that slow and steady, being committed now, being patient, was wasting time. Now they're looking at that Wheel of Fortune. That's when you have to, what goes around comes around, what goes up must come down. That's that feeling of those emotions, and you get that realization about that 12, the karmic cycle. The people, that's that 22, so make it down. You have to break it short. It's at 4. Connect to those emotions. So you're going to hear those family members, those friends, they had a social awareness of you, how you was communicating, you was steadfast, you was intelligent, you was moving. They tried to block you and go like you didn't have that understanding. Those family members and those friends, this divine masculine, they was on that karmic cycle. They weren't looking about their attitude, their approach. They didn't have that spiritual wisdom because they needed to transform. They didn't have that higher knowledge because of the choices that they made, and certain people was blocking and stopping, so they was detached from their mind. Certain people was putting hard work in. You could see it was like the community, and they didn't have that balance. It wasn't, they was off balance. When they was in that childlike spirit, they didn't have that mindset because they were just continuously moving. There was like 5 and 3. They was in that 8th energy. That's when they was in that Scorpio energy. You had to identify, you had to let go of that cycle. You had to keep on moving forward because now they're gaining introspection. They was in that hangman position and they was taking great leaps of faith. They didn't connect to their emotions because when they didn't have no balance, and you had to look at the temperaments, it was providing me with that balance. You've seen that free. You've seen those in low dense energy. changes. You had to have compassion for yourself. You had to have that caring kindness. You had to look back at your thoughts, your emotions, who, why, where, what, when, what enabled you to feel those ways, who put you back on that mindset, because they were in that stress and they're having that conflict. They're looking back at the community, they're looking back at the places. They're seeing how certain people was blocking them, 12, because it was on that karmic cycle. They was detached from emotions, or because when you're in that disobedient, you're not connecting. That's when you're not speaking the truth and you're not got the clarity. You know, when you like got the whole world on my back, and then you're making people give you a heart attack. Then you start realizing, and you have to change and connect, refine, restore. Look at yourself. That's when you have to use your intelligence. Are you being stable? Are you stable? Are you looking? Are you identifying? Are you analyzing people? Because it's positive changes. It's fate. You have to look at those cycles. You have to let go and transform, because it's 2 of Wands. That's when you're planning and you're waiting and you're making a decision and you're choosing that path. So they could see a grudge older. They've grown in a grudge now. They're holding a grudge towards you now because they're in their mind, connecting to their emotions and trying to use their intuitions. But because they're holding a grudge and it's about money, so they could be broke now in that actual energy monitoring. So they could be looking at you and thinking, who are you sleeping with and who are you with? And now they're looking back about that karmic cycle. So they're looking into the mysteries of their stories. So now they're connecting using their intuitions about how they was detached from those emotions and those feelings. Now they're seeing that willpower, because it's that spiritual box now. Now they're feeling that great passion, it's intensity, it's clarity. They're being creative. They're using that inner strength to be able to come towards you. But when they come, they're broke. Somebody from your past, Pentacles, about the hard work. You're going to see they're unbalanced. This Knight of Wands is going to take leadership, and they've got that vision, but they've not got that full clarity of vision. Their only most probably still moving out that left side of the brain. So they're coming with one big ego, and so you know you have to be optimistic when they do come, because you're going to gain clarity. They may need nurturing, healing. They may be still stressed and in their mind. Page of Wands, because they come in like in that excitement way, so you can see extroverted, energetic, because they're fearless now. They're trying to be creative. They're trying to look at the ideas, because they're gaining that clarity. They can see you're that sun, and that's that vitality part now. So they're making these wishes. They're on their knees. They're getting steadfast. They're looking now to be able to take action, because they want to be able to act now, because that's that Jupiter. They want to grow. They're transforming. They're honouring you, gaining that wisdom. They're looking, gaining structure and discipline, because that's that High Priestess now. They're gaining that balance. And now they could just be looking at the money and their hidden knowledge in regards to this money now, using the intuitions about the values and who they value and what they value, and they have those extra energies and who's monitoring what, because now they start honouring, and they may be needing to nurture their self. They may be looking at you and saying, oh my gosh, how nurturing, how caring you were. Take it all as it resonates. They may be wondering who's nurturing you, because that's that faith. They could be looking now and trying to dig, and they try to block you. They have put great faith in it. And they had faith and hope to be able to connect, that you wasn't connecting. They thought they was that one who was that real one, that digging dirt on you. Now they're looking back at that spark, because it's that inside scoop, that full spark. It's fire, it's passion, it's connecting. Because they're saying you've got that spark, and it's a spark between us. So they could be looking at you. They could be looking back at pictures and analysing you. So if they're not speaking to you, they could be getting inside scoop within their self. That's gaining that introspection, because when you start digging, you're digging your mind. You're looking back about the people. You could be feeling unbalanced now, because when you're looking back, it's making you feel off balance, because you're gaining that clarity, higher introspection now. Now you need to cleanse your mind and cleanse those thoughts, because when you was picking up these things, you have to realise, and this is this Knight of Pentacles, they could be getting reliable social. They could have a social awareness of you. They can be wanting to be able to strive now to be able to get organised, because they could be being cautious, because they're honouring you and they're gaining that wisdom. They could be ending certain cycles, because it's that destiny, it's that sudden change, that wheel of fortune. So they're striving to be able to grow now, because that's since the last time your encounter, they've seen you. They're saying, you're mine. 10, that fulfillment, that destiny. You're a part of their destiny. They're stuck now, because it's like changes. They was blocking it because they was wasting time wasting when they was out socialising with those family members and friends. Also, people could have a social awareness of them, and when they're doing, they wasn't organised. It was on that karmic cycle. So they're facing that judgment, because it's like the whole world in your hands. You got the whole world in your hands. You had the whole world in your hands, because you was that true divine feminine. You had those divine feminines and masculines by the grip of the balls, and they didn't even realize how much the spark that you ignited, you identified when they was in that low dense energy 8. You had that inside scoop because the spiritual guides guided you, let you know when certain people is even trying to divinate, block against you. You've seen everything happen in divine timing. You had to gain introspection, gain to connect to the divine, because now they're looking. They're seeing that eternal, it's eternal love, that 2 of Wands. That's why they've got to make that decision now. How am I going to be able to move forward? They've got to be practical. They need stability. They may need to be able to come and like balance their mind now, and may look like they're in that rightful decision, at rightful mind, but you have to use your intuitions because they need nurturing. They could be feeling all in their emotions now and trying to protect themselves. They could be coming hiding, all in divine timing. So they're trying to make this decision because they're around a grudge 8er, and they know they have to make weight because they're gaining this introspection. They could be looking at the bank. They could be waiting for some money from the bank. Take this all as it resonates because they're gaining that clarity. They may wait because they may need to come towards you. They may be coming cold. It's cold season now, so they could be coming wrapped. You could gain introspection about these friends and people that was around them, that was blocking them within that community. They may even need to go to the bank. That looks like a high place as well, so take it all as it resonates. They're trying to do everything right between you to be able to come forward. This is this King of Wands. They're gaining that structure, that leadership, because they're so into you, and they're trying to be able to come because they're looking at these habits. So guys, people are fully trying to block this throat chakra. Let's see what their love message is, because they're holding that faith. They're having that complete trust because they're gaining that wisdom, higher introspection about that spark. They're striving to make that change. They're having that faith. They know about those mistakes from the past, and they wish they could right their wrongs now, so they could be trying to write to you and explain about the actions that happened in the unknown, because they're gaining that balance now of their heart, and all of the things that was dark, so they need to cleanse. They've got more dark than more light. So there's a lot of things that was happening that light. They could have got married. Take it all as it resonates when they was taking that action. They could be wanting to write you and say, us, what about us, and how can I do this, and I'm in regrets, or gosh. And I wish that these things never happened because of this dishonesty. They're striving to come towards you now, this Knight of Pentacles. They're reflecting about that chemistry. So now they're looking back, they're getting steadfast, organised, and being away from you now has allowed me to be able to gain that clarity. Now they're looking back at their self, about their attitude and their approach towards life when they was being a fool, taking that great leap of faith. Now they're looking back at that karmic cycle, because that's when you gain that wisdom. They're trying to achieve now because it's Saturn, it's returning. They're looking back at you. Take it all as it resonates. It's that chemistry. I've never felt this passion before. It's intensity. They're in Cancer now because they're using their intuition, connecting to their heart chakra. Divine timing. Their ego. I let my pride get in the way of our connection. So now they need to drop that ego because they're gaining that clarity now. They're gaining that introspection. They could be looking now and seeing your hidden powers. Now you've got that higher awakening. They're getting that higher clarity awakening. They may need to be able to go court. 9, court. So they may have to go court because certain people, you could be hearing about this divine masculine, about their structure and the people who they're around. Take this all as it resonates, because that's that high education. You know, when you see certain things could be published out about the chemistry when they was taking action with other people, about things in their community, because they've got to go to court. Because when you start gaining that higher awareness, and that was all because of their ego and like their sense of self now, and they've got to be able to look, because that's when they're moving, and you just have to go forward, because when they were seeking and they're using their intuitions, and that was like, they can see you as like that guru. You was explaining and analysing and telling them about this ego, and when you're looking the way you're creating and what you're creating when you're with these lovers and the children, because who you got to play with, and when you're in that childlike spirit and you're gambling, taking these risks, how you being creative. That's when you're like being artistic, or is it because of the music, or you know, when you're like controlling, like music producer, music dancer, creator, you're out socializing in a club like pop promotions, and you're enabled to be able to move in the way you're creating things with pleasures. And how are you committed to those things? Are you evolving, or are you growing, or are you making people stay in those low dense energies, being stubborn and controlling? Because that's about family members, friends. You know, the way how you speak and communicate. Are you communicating with that positive level, or have you not got no structure because like you don't honor yourself? So they could not even have honored their self. So when they was having this intensity, and now they're connecting about their attitude and their approach towards life, because that's when you start reflection. You're in your mind 6, looking back from the past. They're anxious because that's attachment, and then looking for forgiveness because that was unappreciated. They could have unappreciated you. Take this all as it resonates. Now they're looking at this harmony and they're reflecting back to their self. So their deep down self. Now they're looking, they're having stress and regret about these mistakes, what they made. Now they're looking back about the people that they was working with, because that's wavering and that's that focus be delaying the progress, because they was anchoring themselves in your purpose. And now they can see it when they had that willpower and took that action. They was like burning themselves. They burnt themselves. They could have burnt themselves. So they're in regret because they burnt themselves. Putting themselves in situations around certain people for no reason. And they thought they was being creative, and now they're wanting this big forgiveness because it's still at the bottom. And they're looking now because that's that reluctance, and they to be able to accept that change. Because now they're gaining clarity, it's burning them, they're in regret. You know when you feel embarrassed, you feel shame, you like your emotions. Because I'm all in my head, and I can't sleep over and over again. Because they're limiting. Those limiting belies in your mind, your thought, or because of when you're around certain people, you gain this introspection. When you was thought, they thought people's blocking their dreams, you was empowering, and now they're feeling, they're dreaming in regards towards you, they transforming, they need to change that karmic cycle, all because of their habits. And they was in that stagnation, it was overthinking, it was slowing the progress to be able to take inspired action. Bear pause in the video, guys, because blockage of the throat chakra. And they're looking at that passion. It's an emotional intensity. It's fueling that creativity, the purpose. It's that flow. And do something today to be able to ignite your spirit. That's that awakening. That's when you've got to encompass, connect to those emotions, feel the heart, go with the rhythm. Feel the rhythm and feel the ride, because you know it's bobsleigh time. So they're having that bobsleigh time because the Most High's giving that spiritual box, ricochet right in the heart, all because of your ego. And that's, you have to open that path. And that's when you gain that clarity. And that's when you have to have that sunshine, their only sunshine. Because they're seeing that resonance now of that sunshine. They're seeing that awakening. That's when you get that ricochet, connect, gives you that high awakening. And they want to be able to take, because when you release the need to even know every step, the path reveals itself. So let today unfold without any expectations. Practice openness to be able to move forward, one movement at a time. That's you setting these mini tasks, these challenges, these goals, to be able to overcome and encompass those emotions, those thoughts, and those feelings. Just take some out of this bag. See what comes out of this bag. Because what's out of this bag? Oh my gosh, we're not taking them like that, guys, because them ones are old channeled messages. No, these want to come like a big pile of... Right, we've got this big bag here, guys. So we need to get one and not make them come out like a fire shot. Because certain people wanted to come out like a fire shot running towards you. And take it all as it resonates. Because when you have to look back, you get that box. It's a slap. It's a spiritual one. Deep down. Trying to give you, but I ran out and hiding from you because they didn't realize who they was and that they was righteous in you. They was in their carnal nature, low aspects, worldly desires, badly appetite, physical, rather than spiritual matters of your will. They was too busy by tampered their temples, and they was in that sensual, sexual urges, and that was an impulse. Because they was unfaithful, that was the separation from you. It was hidden, that growth, it was sinful nature. And they need to be able to overcome that. So now they're looking, because love shows up unexpectedly, unconditional ways. True love, God creates lands. The great ones start with the truth, trust and tragedy. So you have to look, because that's like Ruth, letting go of what don't fit me to free me. So they could be letting go of what don't fit them now to free them. To have that open path. It says, you're my day one. I can't lose. So now they're seeing you're that day one. They had that decision. They can see that great passion towards you. That's that wheel of fortune. That's that destiny. That's that fulfillment. That's that spiritual box awakening when you was detached. And now you have to see, you have to get cautious, upright, because now you have to look at the actions that you took. Come close. Don't make me sleep. So they may be coming close towards you. They may ask you to come close to them. Don't make them sleep. Because they want having that passion to have that awakening, that clarity of that mind, because that's when you get that higher awareness. That's when it's that Mercury retrograde, 3 and 6, right in your mind. Spiritual, higher awakening, higher wisdom, divine, philosophical knowledge. Take it all as it resonates. Standing, watching the man while he's standing with his woman. Red Eye, Jezebel. So there you got the inside scoop about these people that could have been standing watching you while you was with them. They made these mistakes because they was with them. The moon, female queen, who had these illusions, who was taking great leaps of faith. She thought this was this right magician who was doing spell work, blocking for this assets. You could see they got to go court because again, the spiritual awareness in regards towards this. People thought they was going to get that great full 9 of cups, that abundance, that joy. And all they're having is have 9 of wands, stability, stress, 9 of swords, all up in their head, in the sick bed. Revelations, be seeking them. Keep running away from one they say they love me the most. Keep running away from the ones they say they love me the most. How could I create a distance when it is supposed to be close? Oh, you don't know, but I am out here fighting demons. So they could have been out here fighting demons, having that stress because they was reluctant to accept that change, and that was limiting those belies. They didn't have that complete trust within the divine, within their self, because that was that new path, to open that path. So they're looking now because it was like a curse and they can't shake it. And this is a part of them, that Cleveland. So they could be far from you, so they need to be able to travel, or a land that you would help, and to be able to step. Pain. It's like a picture of my family, and it's hustling, gambling, tricking, scrumbling, losing sight of what I'm supposed to be holding on. I can't lose my balance. I'm trying not to panic. So they could be panicking, trying not to panic because they're getting that awakening. It's like the dark night of the soul. They're going through that transformation, that Pluto. Days unable to think. So those days unable to think, because having that dark night of the soul, but it's that death, it's that recognition, is in that subconscious pain, struggle, resilience, discomfort. That's what it causes. And it's being advised by wrong people, because that Pharaoh led advice from those who posed as leaders, because they was around certain people that was fake, pretending that they had that higher awareness, like they was a true divine feminine masculine, like they was a spiritual leader, and they was spiritually leading them to that low dense energy to block them from that higher awareness, to be able to have that balance, or because of those working with certain people from the past in that community. Take it all as it resonates. This must be facts, guys, because every minute I've got to pause because I'm coughing. You was the example. Oh, see, definitely. How to be and how not to be. Be the love, joy, peace, and compassion. See? Talking the truth, because you was that one who spoke the truth, how to be and how not to be. Sometimes I keep telling you, look at these cards, I'm just intuitively reading, because I'm just reading and just speaking and looking at the cards, because when you gain that clarity and that introspection and you're interconnected with the divine gives you that omnipresence. You got that omnipresence, you got that obedience. You're like spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally connected to your ancestors. They give you those divinely guided messages. Don't be over emotional compass. So you have to, or over emotional, you have to compose yourself. So they need to be able to compose themselves when they're around certain people, because they're connecting to their heart, when they're getting that inside scoop now, because when you get that clarity, it's of that mind, so they can see when they're around certain people in that community and the groups that they're with, when the feminines and the friends and that's close to them that was being wise, they're being wise now. Being quiet because they're connecting to that heart, that emotion. That's that clarity of thought, because they can see as that sun. They may be moving towards you, because when you get that higher awareness, get on that chariot. So they may be quite quiet when they get on that chariot. It says, Daniel 6:10, now because they're connecting to their heart, their emotions. This is the choices that they made. This is your lover. They're looking back at you. They're in their mind. They're having that discernment. You could have detached from them, because that's that willpower to have that truth now, because they're looking. And that's that imagination. They're using their intuitions. You may need to use yours, because it's that spiritual commitment, masculine, prioritizing, manifesting good. That's that punishment, steadfast now in faith, unwavering commitment, public opposition, chaos, truths, So you can be hearing the truths about this chaos when they was working alongside certain people. It's that final manifestation, stability, enduring those lessons, divine favour. That's for that service, devotion, strength, difficult times, obedience and faith. They're having that courage now in that face of persecution because of laws that was signed, and it's like those relationships. When you look back at the relationships and the actions that you took, and it's that power to be able to deliver those divine feminines and masculines within that higher awareness. Get balance, plan, letters, searching, history, look, dodgy, watching, bad news, Bex, death, violence, not good. So you could be hearing about this. They've had this awakening, transformation, they had to let go. You got this inside scoop when certain people was taking and blocking. Now they're having that death, because when you start looking back at that spark, one spiritual box, you just out here highlighting demons. They're quiet now. All of a sudden they're quiet because their demons are getting highlighted. They was dream unalivers in disguise. So these family members and friends that they was around was unalive in their dreams. So they didn't have that awareness. They didn't use their intelligence because certain people thought they was being eccentric. Not making new connections. You started making new connections. You made connections with the divine, yourself, the spiritual guides, the ancestors. Manifesting good words. Persisting in manifesting love, joy, peace. Persisting redemption, love, fulfillment within. Trapped all the way in. So they was trapped all the way in their mind. They made out they was a value. So those karmics, those people from their past, made out they was value, like they was going to be able to be making certain things, like they was getting these 6 of Pentacles and they was obtaining. Ready to love you forever and all my life. They want to love you forevermore. So moon card. What is hidden will soon come to light about these family members and friends and the action that they're talking in regards to this morning. And when those in that community, and when those socialising and partying, and then they cause you this heartache and pain, or because of how you was communicating and people was communicating bad about you, saying that you were doing them extra energies because they didn't have that inner peace and they didn't have that personal power to grow the way you did. They didn't see that you used that magician and you used your intuitions and you connected and you was that true divine feminine. People was lying about you, or because of the way how you communicate and had a social awareness of you and who your divine feminine or masculine was, about that lover, and then you was working and how you was working and what you was doing and they was communicating and all because the way they learned. They didn't have that knowledge, they didn't have that passion and that empowerment to empower themselves, all because of the way how you speak. Take it all as it resonates. Those family members and friends chatting shit because they was doing extra rituals. When they was in that underworld and they was taking great action, because when they was like aggressive, you know, having sexual energy and take it because they thought they was growing to be able to obtain certain assets. Take it all as it resonates. You're going to see those things that they was doing in secret. Yeah, they might need to be able to go court now, because then you get that higher wisdom, you get spiritual wisdom about certain people didn't have no morals, they didn't have no dignity, they didn't have no self-respect, so they couldn't respect you. That's why they was out there with people from their past and they was giving that wand away to different people, all because they had the social awareness of them, but they didn't realize that judgment was going to take place. And now they've got that spiritual box. They're using their intuitions now. Why was I following about this material aspects and in that low carnal energy of mind and running after lust, greed, pride and extra energies, and all so people could see, all because of values, assets, money, all about your home, your stability. Deal, feel. Oh, the deal fell through. So you're going to get inside scoop about that deal fell through when certain people was doing certain things, thinking they was going to obtain this house or they was going to obtain some money. Not heard from him, her since. So the deal fell through. They've not heard from people since. Take this all as it resonates. You could be hearing about the deal fell through about this property when they thought they was going to gain and go into that destiny. You know, you're getting that full 10. Oh, didn't work.